Good morning. Welcome to everyone joining. We're going to give everyone just another minute to join, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right. Looks like folks are still jumping in, but we'll go ahead and get started so we have time for Q&A at the end. But good morning, welcome to everyone. It's good to see everyone back again, and welcome to those joining us for the first time. This is Berkeley Earth's monthly press briefing for our June 2025 temperature update. I'm Kristen Sissener, Executive Director of Berkeley Earth, and joining me on this morning's call are Robert Rohde, Chief Scientist of Berkeley Earth, Zeke Housefather and Devin Rand, both research scientists with Berkeley Earth. And we are also joined by Kate Vizcarra, who helps keep everything running behind the scenes. So just a couple quick introductions before we get started. Robert, next slide. Just a quick introduction to Berkeley Earth. Berkeley Earth is a wholly independent 501c3 nonprofit. We are dedicated to the production of open access and transparent climate data. We're funded primarily through philanthropic grants and individual contributions. And our mission is to empower evidence-based decision-making, especially for local communities, governments, and other stakeholders in the climate ecosystem. Next slide, please. The data and analysis that you will be seeing in this morning's presentation was made using Berkeley Earth's high-resolution surface temperature data set. This product is available at a 1/4 degree of resolution, and we offer subsets available for more than 8,000 global cities off the shelf. We provide national Tmin and Tmax subsets as well, and of course, we offer custom subsets by request. All of these products are currently updated monthly, and they are available by request only at this time. You'll see a QR code on your screen there if you want to go ahead and request access to this product. And I think the link was also just dropped in chat. So a little bit of background about the data behind this morning's presentation. A couple quick housekeeping notes before we get started. This call is being recorded, and a recording will be sent out along with the slides after this call. We will make a link to the report itself available after the presentation as well. And after the presentation, we will be jumping into Q&A. We will be taking questions from the Q&A box. So feel free at any time to pop questions into the Q&A box, and we will do our best to get to as many of those as we can before time. So I think that's it for introductions. I'll go ahead and pass to Robert to kick off the presentation.
Okay, good morning, everyone, or afternoon, where you may be. So this report is talking about conditions in June, and Berkeley Earth finds that this was the 3rd warmest June on our instrumental analysis going back to 1850. It was a bit cooler than 2023 and 2024, which were the record warm years, but warmer than every June that came before that. At 1.31 C above the 1850 to 1900 average. The temperatures in June were similar to May 2025, but significantly cooler than the 2 years that preceded that. So as you can see here with the monthly anomalies since 1980, the last 2 months, June and May, have dropped down below the long-term average, whereas the 2 years before that were part of this anomalous warm event that gave us rise to records in 2023 and 2024. So we've returned to sort of a more middle-of-the-road state in terms of our short-term weather variability. Looking at temperature anomalies wrapped here by month, we find that the 2025 trend started quite warm with record warmth in both January and March, but has since cooled off and seems to be following a trajectory that is more similar to years like 2022 and other previous years, rather than the quite warm conditions we saw in 2023 and 2024. It's also the first, both June and May were below 1.5 C. It's the first 2 month period that have been below 1.5 C in at least 2 years. Okay. Looking at spatial patterns for June, we had quite a bit of warmth across Europe, Western Europe, and the Mediterranean, significant parts of Central and Eastern Asia, as well as warmth in the Northern Pacific, parts of the Atlantic, and of course, large amounts of variability in Antarctic winter, which is sort of what we expect, large swings down there. There was a bit of cooling. It's been unusually cool in India the last 2 months. In fact, the conditions have favored relatively cool conditions. It was also relatively cool in Australia and parts of South America in June. Looked here at locations where you had record and near record warmth, as well as record and near record cooling, of which there is very little. We find that 3% of the Earth's surface had a locally record warm June average. That includes 2% of land and 4% of ocean surfaces. Record warmth in the Western Mediterranean, as well as some parts of the Atlantic, not a bit farther north than the main storm regions, but a bit of record warmth in the Atlantic, as well as spotty records in various parts of the Pacific. Looking here at the land average, we find that June 2025 was considerably cooler than in 2024. It was also only the 5th warmest June on land. Still quite a bit warm compared to the middle of the 20th century, but well off the peak of last year. Looking here at the month-to-month variations since 1980, we find that both May and June are quite similar on land, and both have fallen quite sharply down from the warmth that was experienced over the previous 2 years. And this sort of variability is not uncommon in land averages, but does say that we've moved off of the sharp highs that we have seen in recent years. Looking at the ocean temperatures, we find it was the 3rd warmest June for the oceans at 0.99 plus or minus 0.09 C. So right about 1 C of warming relative to the 1850 to 1900 average for the oceans. And 4% of the ocean surface had a locally record high June. In terms of the month-to-month trend, we see this peak in temperatures in 2023 associated with an early warming peak associated with El Nino that remained high through 2024, also again associated with the El Nino event. We then have had this cooling that as the oceans transitioned first to a brief La Nina and now to a neutral condition, we've lost a lot of the record warmth that was present in 2023 and moved to a more middle of the road state in the oceans relative to the long-term trend. Now, I would like to highlight one particular region of the world that had unusual conditions in June. So this is the June averages for temperature anomalies in the sea surface temperatures. We highlight there was record warmth in the Western Mediterranean. And that's, calls to mind similar patterns that occurred in June of 2023. So if you look here at the time series, we are record warmth in this June. The previous, in 2023, there was also an extremely large excursion from trend in June of 2023 in this region in the Western Mediterranean. Because these oceanic or marine, I guess this is a sea rather than the ocean, but the marine heat waves tend to persist for a few months at a time. They can have lingering effects and be predictive of weather patterns on a larger scale. It is quite notable that June 2023 heat wave in the Western Mediterranean was followed by a series of extreme heat waves across Europe that were ultimately blamed for the deaths of approximately 70,000 people. Now, there's no guarantee that the similar pattern will play out again in 2025, but we would be concerned that this pattern predisposes the continent for a very, heat waves and very warm summer. And we'll have to see how that plays out over the next few months. Turning now to El Nino conditions. So the Central Pacific is currently in what we consider to be a neutral state, with temperatures slightly below the average across the oceans, but not sufficiently cool as to qualify as a La Nina event. We had a brief La Nina early in 2025, which had followed the 2023-2024 El Nino event. The ENSO neutral conditions are expected to continue through the summer, and about even odds that they continue through the rest of the year. Rebound towards La Nina is possible late in this year, and a small chance of a El Nino developing this year, only a small chance. These predictions, by the way, are attributed to the NOAA Climate Prediction Center. And El Nino and La Nina helps us predict the state for the rest of the year, with El Ninos tending to be associated with warmer conditions, and La Ninas tending to be associated with slightly cooler conditions. And given that we're likely to see a neutral condition, we're sort of expecting an intermediate state in global averages. Looking at the global trend now, we see that 2023 and 2024 were record warm annual averages. Year to date, we are currently similar to 2023. The prediction is that we will finish the year similar to that, or perhaps slightly cooler. The chance of obtaining record warm temperatures in 2025, in this year, has fallen to only 1%, now 6 months in, following the relatively cool temperatures in May and June. And there is a 35% chance that it would be the second warmest year, and about a 64% chance that it would be the third warmest year. And essentially anything else is unlikely. There's roughly a 1 in 5 chance that this year will end up being above the 1.5 C threshold that people pay great attention to due to the Paris Agreement. We will note that because of the cooling trends I mentioned earlier, the expectation has gone down a bit. After record warmth in January and March, there was seen to be a larger chance of potentially record warmth in 2025, but that's obviously dissipated now. It's very unlikely that we will see records this year, but still have one of the warmest years overall. Okay, so to wrap up, we're going to see presenting here the 12-month moving average of temperature. We've evidently passed the peak associated with the 2023-2024 El Nino event. And this year, and potentially the next few, may return the Earth closer to the long-term climate trend. Human-caused global warming continues to drive the Earth's climate warmer, despite these predictable year-to-year variations. Okay, so you should be able to access the June temperature report from our website, which shows the graphics we just shown here, as well as some additional information. And a brief programming note, because of vacation schedules, we are not planning to do a press event in August, so we will return to doing a press schedule in September. All right, and now we can open it up for Q&A.